Hello and welcome to the Intel Brief. Today is Wednesday, the 25th of March. I'm your host Daniel, and today we're going to talk about the US has sent a 15-point plan to end the war with Iran, Cyprus is seeking new security deal with the UK, and NASA plans for a moon base instead of an orbital lunar station. So firstly, the Trump administration has reportedly conveyed to Iran a plan with 15 conditions to end the war in the Middle East. Israel's Channel 12 reported the proposal on late Tuesday, citing three unnamed sources. Pakistan, the New York Times, citing two officials, said the plan was conveyed to Iran via Pakistan, which has already offered to host any US-Iran talks. The US envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner have proposed a one-month ceasefire plan, both Channel 12 and New York Times say. During that period, the two sides would negotiate a 15-point agreement. Channel 12 said that it would include dismantling Iran's nuclear program, ceasing support for proxy groups such as Hezbollah and Hamas, and reopening the Strait of Hormuz. So what? I think it's unlikely that Iran will agree to any ceasefire deal currently. I think it's likely that they're going to try and make the global economy suffer a bit more before they want to come to the negotiating table to ensure that Trump and the West knows the position that Iran holds with their ability to close the Strait of Hormuz. I think it's a positive step forward, but I don't think the end of this war is anywhere near happening. It's likely a long way off at this point, sadly. And next, Cyprus has asked the UK to negotiate a new security arrangement for Britain's military bases on the island, the Telegraph has reported. According to the newspaper, the Cypriot president has raised the issue during talks with Keir Starmer on Saturday. Cyprus wants to re-evaluate the status of Britain's two bases when the war with Iran ends. Cyprus is not asking the UK to give up the bases, according to the Telegraph. This is happening due to an Iranian-made Shahed drone that crashed into one of the bases on March the 2nd. The British authorities gave Cyprus no warning of the threat, and a Cypriot official said that a village of 1,000 people was potentially in danger that was nearby. A UK Ministry of Defence spokesperson in a statement to Reuters earlier on said the bases were not up for negotiation and that the long-standing friendship between the UK and Cyprus remains strong in the face of Iranian threats. So what? To me, this kind of rings to what happened in Singapore during World War II, I believe. Yeah, World War II with Australia and New Zealand as likely a sign of basically the UK's drop in defence capability as they've reduced spending and manpower over many years. What happened in Singapore was Singapore got taken over and the British were unable to defend Australia and New Zealand as their former colonies, which led to us becoming our own countries and then looking to the US for more defence and partnership and security. While the UK will likely maintain its presence, I think Cyprus will look to increase their cooperation and ensure that the UK are sharing more intelligence and information with Cyprus, particularly around security threats coming out of the Middle East. And it's possible that the UK is going to be drawn further into the conflict to ensure that, the defence of Cyprus can maintain to be reasonably good and basically to ensure security in the Middle East, which is a global issue. And lastly, NASA will cancel its plans to deploy a space station to lunar orbit. Instead, it will focus on the construction of a roughly $20 billion base on the moon's surface over the next 7 years. New NASA Administrator Jarek Eisenman said that, who was sworn into the US Space Agency in December, made the announcement at the opening of an all-day event at NASA's Washington headquarters. He outlined a raft of changes to the agency's flagship Artemis II moon project, which has encountered a series of setbacks in recent months amid a 21st century race with Russia and China to return to the Earth's satellite. After a series of delays, NASA repositioned its Space Launch System rocket on the launch pad at the Kennedy Space Center a few days ago, hoping to launch its first flight orbiting the moon soon, potentially as early as April. So what? I think it's just an interesting plan and one that could and is leading to a new space race. No one owns the moon or controls the moon, so the first country that goes there will possibly try and claim it as their own, which could be interesting to see if, China wants to try and race the US. Just an interesting story, one that's a bit more upbeat than the past. Anyway, that's been your Intel Brief. I've been your host, Daniel, and I'll see you again tomorrow. See you!